You point out what's weird is that people got so, I don't know, disillusioned working at home, they want to quit their job, but then when you say, well, come back, and they go, oh, no, I don't want to come back. So what is all that saying? That your whole idea of earned success and the dignity of work being what makes life worth living, that throws a wrench into that whole theory.
Yeah, not really. People have a lot of inertia. And so what's happened is that people are a lot lonelier than they think, actually. And there's a lot of research on this, that people can be quite depressed when they don't realize it. One of the worst things that I've seen recently is that about 30% of Americans, 28% of Americans, are exhibiting signs of clinical depression in the late days of the coronavirus epidemic, especially people who are working from home. And what that does effectively is these signs of malaise, of loneliness, of isolation and depression, it actually inhibits the executive function of your brain to help you make the decisions that help yourself. So we talked a minute ago about you have to find the happiness within. That's harder to do when you're actually behind the 8 ball of your own depression. So people got stuck at home. They said, we hate it. We want to come back to work. And then time went on and they started to nest a little bit. So you find that simultaneously, most people feel that they would prefer to work at work, but most people still also prefer to stay at home, which seems like a contradiction, but it's kind of like a law of physics. People at home tend to stay at home. And we're basically going to have, I'm afraid, a real wave of isolation, loneliness, and even depression, kind of an epidemic of that coming behind the coronavirus epidemic, at least based on the data that I've seen.
When we talk about, Arthur, and that is one of the basic tenets of Brookisms, or whatever we want to call it, Brooksisms.
There you go.
Is that work is, people that win the lottery and get a lot of money, typically people that don't win the lottery and never have that kind of money can be much happier and much more, life has much more meaning if you're actually earning your success. So does staying at home make it much more difficult for your thesis to work, that work is what makes life worth living? You kind of have to go out into the world, don't you? Well,
it makes it a lot easier to be productive. Look, work, it's interesting. There's a happiness portfolio. There are really only 4 things that we need to put a deposit in an account into each day if we're going to look at it from portfolio theory. You need a diversified portfolio of your faith, your family, your friendships, and work that does only 2 things. Whether you're the host of Squawk Box or professor at Harvard or whatever, you need to earn your success, which is to say that you feel like you're creating value with your life and work, and you need to serve other people, particularly people who have less power than you. Those are the 2 characteristics. I don't care if you're teaching at the university or driving a bus. If you're earning your success and you're serving other people, you'll get happiness from your work. And people don't have balanced, diversified happiness portfolios these days. And mostly it's not because of the work part, it's because of the relationships part. They're more isolated from the people that they love. They're not seeing their friends. Most people have actually, some people will say, it's great, I have time with friends. Most people have attenuated the relationship with friends. So what everybody needs to do who's watching us right now, no matter what your employer is telling you, is put a deposit in your spirituality or your life philosophy, read some wisdom literature today. Call your mother, the ties that bind, that don't break. I don't care if you disagree on politics. You must do that. Cultivate your friendships a lot more than you have in the past. Use the technologies that you and I are using right now, but for social reasons. And then make sure that in your work, you really feel like you're earning your success and you're serving your sisters and brothers. And I'm telling you, no matter how we're doing our work, these are the ways that we're actually going to be able to be happier than we are today.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.